Okay everyone, I thought I'd make a quick video to answer some of your Zoom questions. I keep getting hit with the same questions over and over, and I thought, well, if I can make a video, maybe everyone can watch this and get their questions answered. And I'll try to keep it super short so it doesn't get too long. Let me first open up my browser, and I'm going to go to zoom.us. This is where you'll go. Usually, if you haven't signed up, here's where you sign up. You need to click sign up. It'll ask you some questions. You'll go through that sign up process, and then you'll have a Zoom account. It doesn't cost anything. You don't need to give them a credit card. Most of you probably, if you're watching this, already have an account. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in. This will take you to this screen. This screen's really just your profile. There's really nothing you need to do. This has your personal number on it. Zoom assigns everybody a personal number. It really isn't that important to know what that is or even to use it. The only thing you can do with it is if you want every single meeting to have the same exact link that you do, you can use this number and it will use the exact same link for every meeting you start. Most people want different links for different meetings, so they don't use that. The only other things in here are it shows your email address. It shows that you have a basic account, which means you can have up to 100 people, and your time limits are 40 minutes. So after 40 minutes or right at 40 minutes, your meetings are going to stop. If you look over here, you can see your meetings that you're going to, if you want to set up a meeting. Webinars are neat. They're just broadcast out, but they require a paid license. So a free account doesn't have access to them. Recordings, if you ever choose to record your meetings, we don't encourage recording within the church, so I'm not sure if you need to. You can't do cloud ones. Cloud recordings require a paid license. Local recordings where it records to your computer, you can do those, but it probably isn't necessary. And then there's some other settings. Really, these are just the default settings that happen when you create a meeting. You can change these for every meeting, so I would really just leave these at the default. Okay, so if we jump back to meetings, you can kind of see which meetings you have. Now, one of the first questions I always get is, well, my screen doesn't look like this. It looks different. So let me show you something. Let me minimize my browser. I'm going to go in, and sometimes, or most people, when they open up their first Zoom meeting, Zoom installs an application. It's usually over here. It's called Zoom. So if you didn't see how I did that, Windows Start all the way down to Z, click on Zoom, open that. So here, if it doesn't have you already signed in, I'll quickly sign in. This will look a little different than the web page, but has all the same information. So sometimes people think they're not in the right place because it doesn't look exactly the same. Sorry. So this one looks like this. So you can see this application. Some people prefer to work in the application. Actually, I do. I'd rather work in this. But you can do the same things over here in the browser. So it doesn't really matter which one you use. They both work. I'm going to stick over here, and then I'll pop back to the browser and kind of show you how that works. So the first thing you can see from this is here's my personal meeting ID. I told you you don't really need to know that. So it just shows it to you. You can see that today I have a meeting set up from 12 to 12:30. I set that up earlier today. It's just practicing. So if I had other meetings set up, they would show up right here. One thing to remember, people say, oh, well, how come my sacrament meeting's not here? Or how come the Relief Society isn't over here? It's because you didn't set those meetings up. Only meetings where you're the host will show up over here. Not all the meetings that you want to attend. So it's important to remember, it's just the meetings that you want to host. Well, let's look at this meeting. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit edit, and it'll open it up. There's the name of it. You can name it whatever you want. You can see that I decided to start it at today, Saturday, November 7th at noon. The duration is 30 minutes. You can make the meetings as long as you want. just remember that even after 40 minutes, they're gonna turn off. So I just usually leave mine at the default half hour. This is a key button, recurring meeting. I'm going to go over that in just a second. The meeting ID, this is just a newly generated ID. This is what tells Zoom who should go to what meeting. Usually people just leave it on generated ID highlighted there with the blue circle. But if you want all of your meetings to be the exact same link, you can come over here and you can click personal ID, and you can see that that matches my personal ID right here. This will make a link using this ID, and if I leave all my meetings right here, then one link would work for all of my meetings. Again, people usually want different links for different meetings, so they leave that clicked. Here's the passcode. If you don't like the one that they generate, you can generate one yourself. You can have, Cobble Creek 2nd Ward, or whatever password you want. Most people don't worry too much about the password because it's embedded in the link, and I'll show you what that means in just a sec. So I'll just use the password that they come up with. Waiting room. If you click on waiting room, that means that people can't come into the meeting unless you let them in. That's kind of nice if you have a meeting where everybody is getting the link and you're not sure if you want to let everybody in. But for the most part here in the ward, people aren't sending out the links, and people aren't trying to get on the meeting without you. So I always leave that unchecked. Like I say, it's only useful if you want to, by hand, let people in the meeting. And really, it's kind of hard, because if you're hosting a meeting, you're probably at the same time trying to talk or teach a lesson. And it'd be hard for you to sit there and let people into the room and be teaching. So it's probably best to just leave that off. Okay, video. If you want everyone to see your video, or your screen, make sure you turn that on. If you want to let your participants show their screen or show their camera, then turn that on. So usually you'll turn both of those on. And this calendar, if you use Outlook or Google Calendar, you might have the Zoom integrated into it. I typically click this one, and I'll show you why in just a sec. I do use it for Google Calendar, and it's kind of nice, but this one makes it so it just gives you a link and it doesn't try to add it to any calendars. Here's some advanced options. You can allow participants to join anytime. I usually click that. That means if they get on before the host, they can join the meeting. Mute them when they come in. That's kind of nice. So if you have a meeting and you want people to come in already muted, so it's nice and quiet, so that the teacher who's teaching doesn't have to talk over somebody who's talking in the background or doesn't realize they're muted. That's kind of a nice feature. This one is automatically record. I've never hit that one. That would record the meeting as soon as you start it. All right, so we've got this meeting, and I was just editing this one, so I'm just going to hit save. It saves it. Now, because I hit that other calendar, it didn't try to add or open up Outlook, or didn't try to open up Google Calendar. It just said, here's your link. And with right here, you can copy that to your clipboard. You can go to your email, you can paste it in, and you can send this link out. Or if you have your phone, you can paste this link into your phone and send it to somebody. So that's kind of nice. This pops up if you have other calendar checked. So we'll get out of that. And then here's my meeting. Well, this is one I already had done. Let's do real quick. Let's do a new meeting. So how would I do a new meeting? There's no new meeting anywhere. If you go to the home and you hit, if you hit new meeting, that's what you think it would be. I'm gonna hit it for you. That immediately starts a meeting right off the bat, right now, and that's probably not what you want. So let's end that meeting. Let's schedule a meeting. So this is my second meeting, right? So Zoom meeting number 2, and we can do it then. Okay, let's go over recurring. What would recurring do? So I click the recurring button. It doesn't do anything in Zoom. It just takes away your date. Well, I'll tell you why that might be nice. I'm going to leave that generate automatically. The password, I'm going to do on other calendars. I'm I'm going to do those two. These are all the things that maybe you could set up in your profile so that they're just automatically clicked. Okay, now I'm going to hit save. This screen pops up because I did other calendar. Copy it to the clipboard so I can paste it somewhere. Okay, now I've scheduled one. Where is it? I don't see it. Well, if I come over here, I see the one that I had and then my new one. They're both here. So let me go back home. In this app, if somebody sent you a link and you want to join, you can hit this join. Now you can copy the link in here and it will work, or you can just put the meeting ID and it will ask you for the password. And then here's the name that's going to show up on the screen. And you know, if you don't want anyone to hear you or you don't want to hear them, you can click that, or you can turn off my video. I'm going to cancel that. I don't have a meeting to join. As far as these other things, this chat, it's not something you're ever going to use. These are for Zoom, people who are on Zoom all day and maybe you're chatting with other people on Zoom. Most of you are going to use your phone and just text other people or email other people. You're not going to use chat. Meetings, this is the one that you will use. And then contacts, I doubt anybody's ever going to add their contact list into Zoom. So really, it's only the home screen or the meeting screen. Right here, it just shows you who I am, my email address, and like I say, for people who are on Zoom all day, that's all they do. They can tell people they're ready for a Zoom meeting, but none of these features should apply to you. Okay, now that's the app. Remember, we found that in the Start menu under Zoom. Well, what about just using your browser? Well, let's go and look at your browser. So, upcoming meetings, previous meetings, and so we're right here. Remember, profile, this is where you're maybe going to set up some of those defaults. Maybe you want to set things up a certain way. You can set them up in here. But you get a chance to change them each time you make a meeting, right? So it's not totally necessary. So we're going to ignore profile for now. If everyone has some more questions on that, I'd be happy to do a different video. So we're going to go to meetings. So upcoming meetings. Well, now you see that meeting I just made just a second ago. It's upcoming. And if you go to previous, you'll see, hey, here's some meetings I've made in the past on my account. So there you go. So some people are like, oh, I can't see the past meetings. Well, you can't see them on the app, but you can definitely come into the browser and you can see your past meetings. Personal room is not, this is what I was talking about with your personal passcode. You can set up a room. Anybody can just automatically click your link and they'll be on Zoom. Again, that's for people who are basically on Zoom all day. It's probably not something you need to worry about. And then meeting templates, I don't have any. You probably won't have any. That's if you wanted to set up a template so you have a common meeting all the time. So really, all you're going to do is upcoming and previous. Well, let's say you don't want to use the app, you want to use your browser, but you want to schedule a meeting. Well, right up here, schedule a meeting. You know, Chris's meeting. Oops, I can't type. Meeting number 3. Now you can put a little description. The app didn't have that. You can set your date, your time and date. I'm going to do, since I already have one at 4, let's do one at 4:30. I could put this in for a half hour, but remember, it doesn't really matter. It's going to shut off after 40 minutes. This has a little note to remind you that it's going to shut off after 40 minutes. And you can click that button and never see it again. You can click this button and go pay for a license. Here's your recurring meeting. So if you click that, it's going to say, oh, it's going to repeat every week. It's going to repeat once a week on Saturday. And we're going to stop it on December 19th, 2020. Good enough. Or you could stop it after the meeting happens 4 times, let's say. Either one. Here's the passcode it generated. Here's the waiting room. Again, I would turn that off. Here's the video. So all these options should look very familiar. They are the same that we just went through. And those 3 options at the end. Allow join anytime, mute them on entry, and I hit save. Boom. One little thing that didn't ask me in my calendar on this one, so it's asking me right here. Do you want to do Google Calendar or Outlook or Yahoo? I don't want to do any of those. Right? So I'm good and I'm done. Let me go up and, oh, well, you might say, well, you didn't get that little page that allows you to copy the invitation. Here it is right here. In the browser, you can copy that invitation. It looks just like this. You can click that button, copies everything, boom. And I copied it to clipboard, so it's ready to go. Cancel, done. And if I come out of here and I go into my upcoming meetings, hey, here's my latest meeting, the one meeting number 3. So you might say, wait, there's another meeting number 3 and another meeting number 3. Remember, we made it a recurring meeting, so it happens every week. So in the browser, it's showing me that it happens every week. On the app, it just show it once. If I go over here, here's my meeting. It only shows up once over here, but it's a recurring meeting. It'll stay there until they're all done. So why would you use recurring? Well, recurring's nice if you don't want your meeting to disappear. This one's gonna this little meeting on the app is gonna disappear. It shows up for today even though it's over, but tomorrow when I come on, it will be gone. But it's not really gone because I can always come over here and see my previous meetings. So you can always go find it in the browser. Okay, so I think that answers some people's questions. Should I turn on recurring or not? Well, if you're really going to have to use this link for the next 4 weeks or for the next 3 months, then I think it makes sense to turn on recurring. And it doesn't matter if you turn it on in the app, like this. We're going to go edit this meeting. And remember, we click recurring. It actually got out of the app and then it went into the browser because I had the browser open. So, and it's going to happen every week. So it actually does make sense to hit recurring. It just kind of keeps that meeting in your tools, in your desktop, or maybe is what to call it. So then you don't have to go looking for it in your previous meetings. But the thing to remember is that Zoom isn't going to delete your meeting. Even if I wanted to use this one in 2 months, I could come find the link in my previous meetings. I'm going to go to my meetings and I'm going to look for my meeting number 2 right here, and I could go in, edit it, and I could grab, oh, it doesn't look like you can. Okay, the link, I was going to copy the link again. I don't see the ability to copy the link. But if you already had the link, you could just reuse this meeting. The Zoom meetings don't go away. But by clicking recurring meeting, then it's easier to kind of grab that link. So that's what it is. And I think that might answer everyone's questions of how to use both the browser and this app to generate meetings, what each of the fields means or the options means. Let's go do one more thing. Well, how do I paste into my browser? So let me open an email. Give me a second. Hopefully I can do this quick. So I'm going to hit compose. You'll see that I've just created some, so Zoom has just sent me some emails reminding me that I deleted this meeting. So I'm just going to make this big so everyone can see it. I don't know who it's to. We're going to say it's to Shirlane. I'm going to say Zoom link. And then remember, I already had it pasted on the clipboard, so I'm just going to Control V, and there it is. And you might say, holy moly, that is a lot of information. What do they really need? Well, honestly, all they really need is right there. You can delete that. They need this link, they need this meeting ID, and this password. Why do they need these two if they just click the link? The truth is they don't need these two. So inside of this link, you'll see this meeting ID is right there. So if they click the link, Zoom already knows what meeting number is. You're also going to see the password is right here. Now you might say, wait, that's not the same password. That's because Zoom encrypts the password, so no one can see the passwords just by seeing the link. So this is an encrypted password. They have a little proprietary encryption, but when Zoom gets this, they know how to decrypt it into this. So technically, all people really need is that link. Now, I like to give them these things just in case they don't have the link. They click on that and it says enter meeting ID. They have it. There's the meeting ID and there's the password. But you might be saying, wait, this isn't a link. It's just some text. Well, a lot of your email editors, when you paste that in, they don't recognize that as a text. Sometimes, like your phone, well, when you hit send, it'll go through and say, oh, that's a link. But usually, if you just put your cursor on the end of it and you hit enter, that didn't work. Sometimes, a lot of times, that will just trigger it to be a link. I think if I send this, Google would see this as a link and it would highlight it in blue. If you're worried about it, let's say, you can copy. You can come down here and you can say insert link, and there you go. Now it's blue. Now it's ready to be clicked. So you can usually fix it. It's just and sometimes people like that. It looks better. People know, oh, that's what I need to click on. There you go. So and then I would hit send, and then that would be it. So I think that is it. Now, if there are other questions, let me know. I can either make a calendar, or sorry, I can make a new video, or I can just send you an answer. Thanks. Bye.